Well, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Welcome to our webinar today. We're starting a Windchill series where we're going to take a look at various elements within Windchill. And to start the series off, we're going to go really basic with Windchill product data management. My name is Rob Romanowski. I am the Director of Sales Operations for 3HTI. And leading the presentation and demonstration is Zach Carson, applications engineer with the PTC Virtual Center of Excellence. And we look forward to taking a look at this today. And the thing to understand about Windchill, Windchill itself is it can be as simple or as complex as you need it to be. It's a scalable system. And Zach will touch on that a little bit today. You can have it in the cloud, you can run it on premise. It's pretty much up to you. It's a really flexible and nimble data management software that will manage, it's CAD neutral, so it will manage any CAD system. And for those of you who are SOLIDWORKS users, we understand that you guys have been burned in the past by PDM systems that don't work. We've seen on posts about smaller companies with only 5 to maybe 15 licenses that have gone to the Dassault 3DX platform, struggling, the 3DX platform basically not working. So getting a good data management system has unfortunately been a challenge. And hopefully today you can see something in Windchill that will help solve whatever issues that you're facing. So without further ado, Zach, why don't you take the con and kick it off?
Yeah, sounds good. Briefly to introduce myself before we jump in, it's nice to meet everyone. I'm Zach Carson. I'm an application engineer with PTC. So I work with Windchill and Creo primarily, but dabble into all of our products a little bit. I'll be the one taking you through this demo today. So we'll start by going through a brief introduction in this presentation to explain what Windchill PDM is, who it's really for, the challenges that people that need PDM are commonly dealing with, and then we'll jump into a demonstration where you can actually get to see the tool in Windchill. So just from talking to so many companies in the industry, we have found that a lot of them face pretty similar challenges when it comes to managing their data through more informal methods like shared folders, drives, FTPs. That's typically how a lot of companies that don't have a PDM system are managing their data in the meantime. The first challenge that a lot of people face, if not everyone who doesn't have a system like this, starts with a lack of revision control. Usually this involves using naming schemes, numbering conventions, things like that. And a lot of times it ends up in a loss of previous design files and a ton of last save win scenarios. So, me and you are working on the same thing at the same time. I save mine after my changes, then you save yours. And since you saved it last, it overwrites all the work I did. And I basically just wasted my time, which could be a ton of time depending on how big those changes were. You also need to manually track document and CAD interdependencies. This is extremely difficult to do, and it's very hard to determine what all will be affected by any changes to those files with those interdependencies. The relationships are hard to identify, and they're hard to carry over through the changes that are inevitably going to happen. Basic security is a big concern, whether it's really just all or nothing access to files, and it's just difficult to filter people's accesses and different permissions for the different users. If you want to do it from user to user or role to role, it's hard to do in systems that aren't designed to manage all the data. And ultimately, it's very difficult to share data and problems, and that leads to duplication of parts, lack of visibility into the data, really from all the parties that are involved. PTC's solution to these challenges is Windchill PDM. It allows you to securely manage your data, whether it's your CAD files, your documents, your bill of materials, all associated reference documents. You're going to manage them all in one place. And then you can easily search for them, search for products, for parts, for documents using Windchill's search capabilities, which this seems like it's pretty trivial, but a lot of these systems, it is not easy to search in. Windchill makes it very easy. You have a search bar. You can search from partial numbers, keywords. You can also just browse. So really a system that makes it easy to find what you're looking for. You can enforce simple release and change processes and have the ability to standardize and even automate them and really limit possible errors. This is an area that is a massive pain point for companies that don't have systems like Windchill, because if you're managing things in file drives like a OneDrive, a Dropbox, even just your File Explorer, if you're connected to a server, there's not any processes that are really in place. There's no good, standard or formal change and release process. So that stuff, a lot of times the data gets lost in translation. You end up with multiple copies. It's not the most efficient. You're communicating a lot of times via email or IMs or Skype messages and things like this. It's not streamlined like it would be in Windchill. Lastly here, you'll enhance collaboration with all of your data being managed in one system, controlled and accessible to all of the users who have access to it. Now, what are you getting with PDM, with Windchill PDM? First off, you're going to securely manage your CAD files. Doesn't really matter, like Rob said, what CAD system you're using. Obviously, we would love for you to use Creo. It's our tool, but you don't have to be using Creo. If you're using SolidWorks, AutoCAD, Inventor, NX, CATIA, all these different tools, we can manage them all in Windchill just like if it were a Creo file. It really doesn't matter to Windchill. You can quickly find the latest version of all of this data, as well as the history of it throughout its life cycle and all of the changes. This is a massive advantage that Windchill has. Whenever you're managing in your File Explorer or in the more unconventional methods in systems that, yeah, they might work in the beginning, but eventually you're going to outgrow them. Everybody does. So whenever it comes to version control, that's something that's hard to do in these other more informal ways, because it's all just based on numbering or naming. It's not actually storing the history. It's basically, I name it this, and then I make a copy of it. Quickly can get out of control there. You can quickly lose some data, have copies, and it's just not the most efficient way. Windchill PDM also, with it, you can control access to your IP from a product level to a department level down to the roles of specific users. And then you can manage your CAD files, quote unquote, behind the scenes with Windchill's integrated tab into different tools that you're already using. So if you're a SolidWorks user, integrate it with Windchill and you literally get a Windchill tab in SolidWorks. Even if you're using, everyone uses Microsoft Office. We integrate with Microsoft Office. If you're working in Microsoft Word or Excel, you'll literally get a Windchill tab in those tools. And the nice part about doing that is that you can just continue to work with those, continue to use the tools that you're familiar with and that you understand, and get the key data management capabilities of Windchill right from inside of those. In regard to managing bill of materials and associated documents, you can have a structured bill of material and parts list right within the CAD tool that's based off of your Windchill structure. We have desktop integration so that you can access all of your Windchill documents right through your Windows Explorer. So if this is already how you're managing files, for a lot of companies it is, this is great for them, because then they could just use their File Explorer to access and even to, say, upload documents to Windchill. They're still going to be controlled. It's just, you don't have to go into Windchill to find things or to open things. If you are not a frequent Windchill user, you like the Windows File Explorer, go in there, drag and drop a document from your desktop into Windchill that way. It's still going to be controlled. The same permissions and accessibilities apply, even if you're accessing it from Windows versus if you're accessing it from Windchill. You can export your bill of materials to a bunch of different file formats and then work on it in those outside tools, such as Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, XML files, CSV, list kind of goes on there. In terms of searching, like I said before, it makes it really easy to find what you're looking for. I've worked in some tools in the past where whenever you search for something, this search bar actually disappears. So I would search and it would take me forever to find something because it didn't have partial searching. You had to type in, we had 12-digit part numbers. You had to type in all 12 digits exact or else you weren't going to find anything. And then once you found it, the search bar disappeared. So if I wanted to look at something else, I had to lose my search. I had to go all the way back to the home screen and search it again. Windchill, it's way better than that. You can search here, you can use the browser, you could do partial searches, lots of different options. To get a visual understanding of what you're working with, of the parts, the assemblies, documents, PDFs, Windchill uses these visualizations like you can see here, and they're really lightweight representations of whatever the object is. And it doesn't matter what that object is. So if it's a document, you would see the document here. If it's a CAD design that you've created in SolidWorks, you would actually see that a lightweight representation of that model in Windchill. And what's so nice about that is you don't have to have a SolidWorks license or a Creo license or any CAD license to view this stuff. That's been the way that it's had to be done traditionally. You know, if you have people, they don't even have to be designers, but if you want them to see the model, either someone who works in the CAD tool is going to have to take screenshots, or they're going to have to just have a CAD license to go into the tool themselves. Not with Windchill. They can see it all just right inside of Windchill and even interact with it. Click on the different features or on the different components that make up that assembly. Now with Windchill PDM, you're getting the ability to enforce a pretty simple change and release process where you'll coordinate all applicable users in design reviews and promotion processes right from inside Windchill. That's really going to help you standardize and automate your workflows, avoid unnecessary errors and hiccups, avoid going through and manually identifying everything that's going to be affected. It's kind of going to all be automated within Windchill. So if I complete my task, Rob, you're up next in our workflow, then you'll automatically be assigned your task whenever I complete mine. It just streamlines the whole process. You can enforce naming conventions, numbering schemes, design processes, and really just standardize all those processes moving forward so you know that you're being as efficient as possible. Lastly, it's going to help you enhance collaboration. With these lightweight graphical images, these visualizations is what they're called. You can work with them, you can interact with them. Amazing for downstream users, like I said, who aren't working with CAD, because now they can still see that digital model and they can get insights from the designs. Creo View is a tool we'll talk about a little bit more here today, later on. It's something that comes with Windchill. You can open it up, look at these visualizations, mark them up, add comments, take measurements, even do things like design review or create animations, and it's all just done from this lightweight representation. Another great way to share data to everyone who needs it and may not be working in Windchill is to generate the viewables in different formats. So it could be a PDF, you could export as a CSV, an IGIS, even drawings. Right, so without further ado here, we'll go ahead and jump into Windchill. Before we do that, I'm just going to check here. Doesn't look like anyone has any questions so far.
No questions at this time.
Okay, perfect. Windchill, here we go. So for this demo, we're going to keep it pretty high level. We'll just go over the basic capabilities of Windchill PDM. I'm going to start by introducing you to the interface. So in the top left, you can see who you're logged in as. Probably just would be seeing your name most of the time. For today, we're going to actually go through this as 3 different users to see how 3 different users that each have a different role would actually be using the system. Now, if I open the browser, this is one way we can search for information. We'll be working with this particular product today called Synergy. Within this product, you know, a big part of a PDM system is managing the users, managing what their roles are, what their permissions are, and so on. So in this case, I'm already logged in as Cindy. You can see I'm a contributor. I have guest privileges here. Later on, we'll log in as Mark, who's a product manager, and as Chris, who is a designer, and you'll see how the tool kind of changes between the different users. So this is where you would go if you wanted to add new users to a product, or to, if you wanted to change what their permissions are. This is the screen that you would be able to do that from. Maybe you don't want to actually do it. You want admins or IT to do it. That's going to be totally up to you who actually has that capability. So we're going to go ahead and open up the product folders. And this is really where you're going to go to see all of the different documents and the different users and whatnot who are working within this particular Synergy product. So if I wanted to change what anyone is able to do, I can do that from a product level. I can do it from a particular folder level. I could do it all the way down to a specific individual document. I could say who's going to be able to view that, modify it, download, and so on. And if I have permission, it's literally just checking and unchecking a couple of these boxes. In this case, they're all grayed out. I can't do this at all based on who I'm logged in as, but this is how you would be able to do that. Okay. When it comes to searching, a couple tools here at the top. We'll go ahead and search for information here. But to the left of where we're actually going to type into the search, we have this little drop down. And what's nice about this is it's basically a way to kind of filter some results before we really type in the search. The wildcard search, which is basically just your partial search, is really, really nice. It makes it super easy for people to find information. But if you're only typing in a couple numbers, there is a good chance that you're going to get a bunch of results. I don't want to filter through, if I do a short partial search, I don't want to filter through 100 different things. So what I can do here is just go ahead and check and uncheck a box. If I know that I'm looking for a CAD model, then I don't want to see the documents. I don't want them to come up in my results. So I just uncheck that box and it's kind of filtering for me right off the bat. Right. Now, whenever I type in my partial search here, I do get 58 different results. So this is all of these results include that 297, which I typed in as my partial search. Now I have different options in how I can actually filter this down. So if I wanted to just do a secondary search within these results, I could type in maybe another partial number or even a name, and that's going to narrow it down even more. So just based on that, you can see I'm all the way down to this one specific component, which is the one that I wanted to see. Now from here, if you notice where my mouse is, there's a little box, a little thumbnail image. And this is a really nice tool in Windchill. This is what we call the thumbnail navigator. What this allows us to do is use the visualization that's been created by Windchill for this part. So I'm not a designer. Cindy is just a contributor. That's who I'm logged in as. I don't work in the CAD tool, but I can still see these visualizations and I can get a good understanding of what it is that I'm working with. That's one area that without Windchill specifically, a lot of companies struggle because you have all these different users who are coming into the system because this is where you're storing everything. You want everyone to have access to the same information, to be working from the same thing. You don't want to have copies. But a lot of the people who work in the system aren't necessarily going to be designers. They don't work in the CAD tools. They don't have CAD licenses. So this allows them to come in here, get a good understanding of what they're working with, visualize it, and get a good understanding. And then from that point, it's going to help them do their job a little bit better. Now I can interact with this too. So with this pop-up window, the thumbnail navigator, I can actually go to that nut is just a component on an assembly. I can see the assembly that it's on. I can interact with these visualizations. So clicking on the icons on the right, and then directly from there, I could even open this. So let's just say in this case, I didn't actually know the number or the name for this transmission, but I accessed it by searching that nut and then using the thumbnail navigator I just opened up the transmission right from there. I never had to formally search for it. Having a tool like this that's really easy for users to search and to find what they're looking for is a huge deal in terms of ease of use and just usability of the system. Okay. Now, whenever I open that assembly, what I'm taken to here is essentially the home screen for this transmission. So there's a lot going on here. You know, I have my structure on the left. These are all of the different parts that make up this assembly. Odds are, once you connect to your CAD system, this structure on the left where my mouse is just going to be created automatically. You're not going to have double work. That's traditionally how people do it. All of the naming, the numbering would just be carried over from the CAD tool. Or if you're doing that stuff in Windchill, it would be pushed to the CAD tool from here. So it's a two-way relationship going back and forth. And you can see here, as I'm going through this part structure and selecting on the different parts, they're also highlighting in that visualization. Again, really nice for users in Windchill to get an understanding of what they're working with. Goes the other way too. If I come in the visualization, I select on, say, this loop cap, it highlights there in the structure. And now what I can do is if I wanted to export this part structure to really any of these different formats, CSV, HTML, PDF, it's literally just the click of a button. It'll look at that part structure, generate it, in this case, you know, as an Excel worksheet, so I can have that report with all of the information in there for me. This is configurable too. You can see more or less than this. If you wanted to add some other columns in there, you could very easily do that. I'm going to go ahead and open up this particular part. And one of the tools that I mentioned before is Creo View. This is something that comes with Windchill, but it's a really nice tool. It comes just free with Windchill. This is all about collaboration. That's one of the biggest hurdles that any company has. I've seen this firsthand. I worked in manufacturing. I know how much of a challenge collaborating is. This tool is great for that because it allows people to open any file. If it's a PDF, you don't have to have a PDF viewer. If it's a CAD tool, you don't have to have a CAD license, and actually work with it. So look at this thing from different angles. Use the cross-section view like we just did. Add comments to it. Mark it up. Take measurements. All these things. See the properties for this, like the name, mass, volume, area. All this different stuff just right from Creo View. So it's great for any users in Windchill to get an understanding of the parts or the objects that they're working with. Even if you wanted to open up a document that you got from a supplier in here, you could open it up, go through, highlight different things, add comments to it, similar to what we're doing in this case. One way that I see this being used a lot too is people will come in here and mark up. So let's say the radius of this is 3.175 millimeters. People will add comments in here that are going to be used to kick off change processes. So if I am a manager and I wanted the radius of this to be changed from 3.125 to 2 millimeters, I come in here, I add that comment, and I will save this to Windchill. And what that does is now anybody who looks at this, the designers, let's say, who are going to be making the change, it's clear as day because it's in the context of the model. I can't tell you how many times when I was in manufacturing, we communicated changes over email, and the change that was actually made ended up not even being what we asked for. It ends up with so much wasted time, so much lost time. If we just had a tool like this where we could communicate these things in the context of the model, it's really hard to misinterpret what we're asking for. So that whole change process is going to be streamlined. Now I'll just go ahead and save this off to Windchill. And for the next part of this, we're going to switch users a little bit. And we're actually going to take a look at the desktop integration component of Windchill. And this is a really nice feature. I mentioned it before, because this allows us to access the data that's managed in Windchill right from our file explorer, from our Windows File Explorer. If you're already familiar with this, most people are. This is how everyone at some point or another has managed their data, their files. Well, then this is great for you because it's just going to let you keep using the tools that you already know how to use pretty well. So if I wanted to come in here and open up a product and look at some documents in here, these are all managed in Windchill. If I don't have permissions to open them, I'm not going to be able to open them from here. So all of that carries over. But what I can do in my case today is, let's say I have a document on my home screen that I need to upload to Windchill. I can actually do it right from my desktop. And what happens is I'll just drag and drop it into this folder. And then just like if we were doing this in Windchill, it's going to launch this window that guides me through entering the information and uploading this file. So for you, if there's certain criteria you require to be entered, you want to require a name, of course. You want to require someone to put it in a folder so it's not just floating, in nothingness. Have that information entered here, even a description. A simple checkbox is you can require a description. So anyone who uploads this has to type what this document is, and that way everyone is able to see. What you also notice is now that we created that, it's automatically been assigned a version. Everything in Windchill is version, or it has a version attached to it. It's version controlled, it's permission controlled. So whenever I drag and drop this here, we've already laid out the naming schemes and they were just assigned it automatically. It's automatically given an A.1 version, it's automatically in work, and it's been given a number. Now what happens is, since we have uploaded this to Windchill, this is controlled, right? Once it's controlled, Windchill, with any of its information, uses a check-in and check-out system. What that means for you is, I mentioned before, one of the biggest problems is people working on the same things, and then you have the last save win scenarios. Check-in and check-out means if I want to work on something that's stored in Windchill, I have to check it out before I can make changes. What's so great about this is nobody is going to overwrite each other's work at all anymore. Only one person can check this out at a time. If I have this and I'm making changes to it, I check it out. Someone else can look at it, but they're not going to be able to make any changes in the meantime. So we're completely eliminating the possibility of any duplicates, of any overwriting work. Now that I have it checked out, I can make some quick changes to it. And right from inside Microsoft Word, because you can see here we're integrated, we have that Windchill tab, I can go ahead and check this in. It launches this little window that guides me through entering in all my information. And once I'm done there, it's automatically checked in. So now it's been updated and anyone else can access it. And you can see here, as soon as I checked it in, it automatically iterated as well from A.1 to A.2. Okay. Before we go any further, does anyone have any questions? Let's take a look here. Doesn't look like it.
No, I think your explanation in detail is covering everything, Zach.
Good stuff. So for this part, what we're going to do here is we're going to switch roles a little bit. We're going to act like the designer. Remember, the designer is the one who's going to come in here to that cap and make the change that we asked for. So this is just working in Creo Parametric, bit of an older version. This is Creo 5. It doesn't quite look the same as what the newest version looks like, but the concepts are the same. So we can come in here and focus on this cap. And if you remember, if you think back to the person in Creo View who made that comment, well, we know that we need to make a change to the hole on the top of this piece. So I can quickly here open up inside of Creo. I can open up Windchill and I'm going to look at the content, because what's going to be in here is the Creo View markup that we made earlier. And I'm going to use that to understand what changes I need to make. So you can see this is the exact version that we made earlier, the exact version that was saved. And now there's no confusion. I know exactly what needs to be done. The radius of that hole right now is 3.175 millimeters. I need to change it to 2. Clear as day. So we'll go ahead here, check this out. And then we can make some pretty quick changes to this. They're just 2. Looks pretty good. And now that we're done, we'll just go ahead and check this back in. Now that we've checked that back in, it automatically then goes back to the, it automatically applies to not just the part, but also the assembly that that part is being used on. So that will now be carried over to all of the users who are working in Windchill, both with the individual cap that we saw and with the assembly that that cap is being used on.
So Zach, a question that just came up is, can Windchill interact with any electrical CAD tool such as Altium Designer?
Yes, actually Altium is one that we have an out of the box, or not out of the box, but a pre-built connector already for. So similar to what we did today with like Microsoft Word, if you're using Altium and you integrate it with Windchill, you would get a Windchill tab within Altium. Good question.
Excellent.
Now, we do understand at PTC, not everyone's using our tools. Not everyone's using Creo. You might be using Altium. You might be using SolidWorks. We do really try to be agnostic and do a very good job of being agnostic in terms of what kind of data we can manage. So in this case, let's say that we're actually a SolidWorks user, and this is a SolidWorks model that is being managed in Windchill. I want to be able to still manage this data and make changes to it on the SolidWorks side. So what you'll see here is in the top, in the toolbar, there is in fact a PTC Windchill tab. And just like when we were in Microsoft Word, just like when we were in Creo, we have the data management capabilities of Windchill right from inside of here. So my check-in, my checkout is all right here too. And you can see this as soon as I check this out, I even get a notification in the bottom that says that checkout had succeeded. So if I wanted to, just like when we worked in Creo, I could make changes to that, push those changes to Windchill, and they'll automatically be updated. It'll automatically be iterated for us. Now that's a part from SolidWorks. So maybe this is that brake disc was something we got from a supplier. I want to bring it into Creo and maybe just assemble it into my Creo model. You know, of course, you might have models where, or assemblies where not every component is from the same CAD tool. So we'll just bring it into Creo, line this brake disc up, and now we have our whole brake assembly. Looks pretty good. So once we're done there, let's go ahead. We could make some changes, but the idea is really, now that we've made the changes in SolidWorks, we've made the changes in Creo, we've brought them together. Whenever we go back into Windchill, all of those changes will be updated and applied to the Windchill system. So if I, in this case, jump back into Windchill, what you'll see immediately is I still have the original cap, the original lube cap. Remember, this is the part that we changed. I still have the original one open in Windchill. If you look at this screen and you look at the top left, what's happening is Windchill recognizes that this is not the most up-to-date version. This was the one that we looked at earlier, but now changes have been made. So it gives us that go to latest option there, which allows us, or gives us, a hyperlink to actually go to the latest and greatest. And what you'll see is as we open this up, well, I guess the whole, you're not really going to be able to visually see the difference. But if we were to have, say, change the color of this thing, then whenever I clicked go to latest, you would now be seeing the latest version. It would be in that new color. If you actually look at the general properties right below the visualization there, you can even see A.2. Earlier, we were looking at A.1. And Windchill keeps track of everything you do. So it doesn't matter if you've changed this thing 75 times. you go to this history tab, you'll see the current version and then all 74 previous iterations of this as well. So you're never ever losing the history of any objects that you're managing in Windchill. For the last part of this, we'll go ahead and we'll say, I want to create a new promotion request. What this new promotion request is just saying, I now updated this part and I want it to be promoted and released to everybody on this date. You know, you have processes, you go through changes, and you want to set deadlines that say, I'm working on this part now, but I want it to actually be released to everybody on December 10th. You can go ahead and create or set that date and then determine who all you want to be maybe involved in the process of reviewing that and then releasing it to everybody. So this is a simple screen where I can just check, hey, these are the 4 people I want to approve. Don't really want anyone to review this because we're going to say it's already been reviewed. But then what happens is that will actually kick off a workflow. So it's going to automatically be a task that's assigned to some other users. And as soon as those users log into Windchill, they're going to have a task that is to approve that promotion request. And you can see that here. I'm logged in as a different user now, Mark. I have a task right on my home screen. So it's the first thing I see when I log in to actually look at that change and review it and then approve it and say that it's good to go. So we'll pretend we reviewed this. And then I'll just add a comment, approved. And as soon as I complete that task, then it's really done and it's been released to everybody. All right. So that's all that I had planned to go through for this demonstration of Windchill PDM. We took the roles of a few different users to show the capabilities that Windchill has with data management from various sources, whether it's CAD sources or even document applications like Word or Excel. And that allows you to see how you're going to improve your collaboration across your company and how out-of-the-box workflows like the one that we just used are able to streamline your processes. So I have a few more points here I'd just like to share that kind of summarize the value that this can actually provide to your company. First off, you're going to securely manage all of your files and product information. So you don't have to worry anymore about people overwriting each other's work. You don't have to worry about working with outdated information or data. It's all now in this safe, secure environment with all of your information stored there. It's a hosted PDM system. So based on PTC's proven Windchill PLM software. So it's essentially a scaled down version of that. Not everyone wants to get into a complex PLM system. Of course, we try to make it as simple to use as possible, but not everyone needs all of those capabilities because that just means you're probably paying more than you need to and you're not really getting the most value out of it. So providing you with Windchill PDM, a product management system, rather than entire lifecycle management can really benefit you right now to get the capabilities and the value you need out of it, and then scale with you as your company continues to grow. Lastly, this provides you a true foundation for future growth, where, like I said, you address your needs now, you streamline your data management processes, your workflows now, and then when you're ready, if you need to expand to a full PLM system as your company grows, Windchill is more than capable of handling that. So that concludes my demonstration for Windchill product data management.
Excellent, Zach. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, as always, you do a great job. Question came in. Are there any other webinars that go over the basics of Windchill check-in, check-out, copying, version control, differences between local CAD server? I would say I can't think of any webinars that go over the basics of Windchill in that regard. However, what we can do is we could do a demo for you. Like we could set up a demo and go through all those scenarios that you need to see regarding Windchill itself. One of the other things to mention about Windchill is some people shy away from Windchill because primarily it is a PLM tool, but can be used as a PDM tool and used very simply. But people shy away from it because they figure that there's a lot of costs to Windchill. And really the cost depends on how customized you need Windchill to be. This is something that we do every single day. We have clients all across the country in the US and Canada and North America that we've assisted with getting Windchill set up, customized, and even customers that don't need it, that a really customized solution, but something very basic, and they don't have an IT department. We can help them manage Windchill on a monthly basis, at a very reasonable cost, so that you're getting the return on the investment. Once again, everything that we do for our clients, especially with PLM or PDM, has to show a return on the investment for what you're getting. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want to invest in something and not get any return on it, which has happened a lot with a lot of the SOLIDWORKS PDM solutions and other systems as well. So if you have any questions regarding how we can help you, or you're interested in the PDM system, we'll shoot it straight as far as what you need, and we'll dig into the details and see what absolutely makes sense for you. So if you want to see that more detail as far as Windchill, check in, check out, version control, we could set up a customized demo for you. Another question that came in is how to manage product structures which extend beyond the CAD structure, such as wires and components, which are on a bill of materials, but not captured in CAD.
That's a really good question. It's actually very simple to do in Windchill. What happens a lot of times is, and I mentioned this in the demo, but that traditional or that original BOM a lot of times is a copy of the CAD. It doesn't necessarily have to be, and you're not stuck there. Once you've created that original BOM, then you can add to it whatever you want right from inside of Windchill. The nice part about doing it in Windchill too is we don't want duplicates. So if you already have, say, something in the Windchill, an object in Windchill that's managed, so let's just say it's a label or it's anti-seize or something like that. If you just go into the BOM in Windchill, you search Windchill, you can add it straight to that bill of material, even though it's not a modeled object. It's really, really easy to do.
Excellent. Well, that's going to conclude our webinar. So once again, I want to thank you, Zach. You did a great job as always. And looking forward to this Windchill series that we're kicking off. And once again, if anybody has any questions or like to get in touch with us, it's real simple. You could just reply to the invitation email that you received for this webinar. I personally receive those, or you can email us at info@3hti.com, or you can give us a call. You can call me directly at 610-590-1089. This recording will be posted on YouTube. You'll be getting a copy of this recording by tomorrow. So thanks again for joining, and have a great day, everyone. Take care.